chances are, if you're watching this video, you or someone you know has owned this IKEA table. Or her cousin, that other IKEA table. It is the 7th most sold piece of IKEA furniture globally. But why is that table, or any of the other IKEA furniture on this list, owned by so many of us? And then the follow-up question, is that a good thing? When we first started trying to answer this question, we first thought of something that you've probably heard of, called the IKEA effect. The basic idea is that if you have to assemble or construct some part of the furniture you're buying, then you're more likely to think that it's awesome. For example, I made this cutting board back in woodshop class, and it's not completely flat per se, and it's an awkward shape, but you better believe that it'll be sticking around in my kitchen until the day I die. And the lac table might be the easiest IKEA furniture to assemble. This is like the participation ribbon of IKEA assembly projects. All you have to do is screw in 4 table legs and you're done. This is not the same experience for people trying to assemble an IKEA kitchen.
This is so bad. This is so bad.
Oh my god, dude, are you serious?
Oh my gosh.
Weirdly, this is a part of why IKEA is successful. It is true that a DIY project, even if it's just screwing 4 legs together, makes you feel more committed to your product. At least that's what's suggested by a Harvard Business School study conducted, where it was found that people would tend to overvalue products they made themselves. Hence, my cutting board. The authors of that study called it the IKEA effect because it was IKEA at the time that was the first company to sell disassembled furniture at this scale. But obviously, the reason why IKEA has sold millions of these tables is not because we're all looking for an easy DIY project. No, the real reason is far more predictable than that. It's because it's cheap. The lac coffee table retails for an astonishing $9.99. I'm honestly not even sure how it is possible to create a functional table for less than the cost of a Subway sandwich, but here we are. This extremely cheap price makes the choice to buy very easy, but it is something that feels a bit contradictory to that IKEA effect that we just talked about. Because even if you build it yourself, IKEA furniture, especially the really cheap stuff, is what you're most likely to toss out when you're moving or you need new furniture. Easy come, easy go. Now, first of all, if you think trying to assemble IKEA furniture is hard, disassembly doesn't even come with a manual. And when you're stressed out, standing there in a living room full of moving boxes and you have this flimsy table sitting there that you just don't want to have to deal with, you're probably just gonna end up saying, "F it. I'll just buy another $10 table when I'm at my new place." Now, if you buy another IKEA replacement product, it is not just because it is extremely cheap or you have some sadistic love for reading furniture assembly instructions. It is because they have great style. If that table was as ugly as most of the IKEA product names that they have, you would have never bought it. Grunka. Sniglar. Grunka. Sniglar. Ulriksberg. And because of IKEA's timeless Nordic minimalist design, they have a funny way of fitting into just about every interior design model available. Add this to the fact that their stores are basically a one-stop shop for all the things you might need to furnish your home, and spontaneously buying a table is something that you can pretty easily do. So IKEA has created a dirt cheap, timeless piece of furniture that everyone and their talking dog has owned at some point. But is that accomplishment something that we should be celebrating? If H&M is the king of fast fashion, then IKEA is the king of fast furniture. Despite their minimalist design, which is typically built to last a number of years, IKEA is creating a constant turnover of products year after year. This is sadly a necessary fact of a business if you are going to be maintaining your status as the world's largest furniture seller. So no, your children are not likely to inherit your Billy bookshelf when you're done with it. And that's completely intentional. It is the planned obsolescence strategy that is seen in so many industries nowadays, and IKEA does it flawlessly. And indeed, IKEA follows a lot of patterns that are seen in fast fashion, such as a high level of staff turnover, low prices, and in-store techniques to make you buy more. Now, of course, you probably don't change your bed frame as often as your t-shirt, but there's a statistic that proves that we are going through furniture faster than ever before. In 2018, about 15 million tons of furniture went into the garbage in the US. That's 7 times more than in the 60s. Roughly 80% of that ends up in landfills and 20% gets combusted for energy recovery. The share of that furniture that gets recycled is so low it doesn't even make up a percentage point. And since IKEA is the world's largest furniture seller in the world, we can probably bet that the Kallax, Lunarp, and Kopangs of the world are making up a pretty big percentage of that trash. And yes, that was my very serious attempt at pronouncing those properly. Speaking of percentages, a big percentage of the people watching our videos are not subscribed to this channel. If you are enjoying our content so far, please consider supporting the channel by clicking that little subscribe button, ring that little bell so that you see all of the amazing videos that we're making down the future. Maybe we'll make one about those weird IKEA meatballs. Seriously, we might do that. But IKEA is not unaware that they hold some role in this new explosion of furniture waste that we see going to landfills, and they've made some pretty bold claims to change. IKEA aims to be what they call people and planet positive, with some pretty ambitious targets for 2030, one of which being their brand new buyback scheme to cut landfill waste. However, this program is only available at certain stores, and we have yet to see any transparency as to whether or not this furniture is actually being resold or how it's supposed to be recycled. Again, this would be an amazing video that we would love to dig into further if you're interested in knowing more about it. There is a ton going on with this company and so many others around the world today, so if you have any suggestions, please let us know down in the comments below. With the information that we have so far, aka from IKEA's website, we've learned that only the top of this table is partially made from recycled material, which is definitely better than nothing. According to IKEA, products can be recycled or used as energy recovery if it's available in your community, but we need to put some emphasis on that last part. This disclaimer is likely because the table is composed of a bunch of different materials, making it very difficult to recycle. Let's break this down. The table is made of something called fiberboard, which isn't recyclable or compostable due to the chemical adhesives used to make it. The paint is actually hazardous waste in most cases, and the plastic is glued to the fiberboard, creating a neat little mess of stuff that you should never put in your blue recycle bin. So without laboring the point here, this likely means that no, your IKEA table is not going to get recycled. So yes, on one hand, IKEA has presented people with a fashionable, timeless $10 DIY project that we can all feel good about. But what are we really getting when we buy fast furniture? I think we need to question the relationship that we have with the stuff that we buy, especially the cheap stuff like our clothes and our furniture and our food. Is that low price worth the very real tangible impacts that those things have on the people and the places where they are made? We're still struggling to understand if it is even possible for IKEA to deliver on their sustainability commitments while sticking to a fast furniture business model. But in the meantime, this is what you can do. Think twice before going and shopping at IKEA. Check on Facebook Marketplace or other secondhand stores to see if you can find something that's an alternative. And if you need to get rid of your furniture, try to sell them or upcycle them at least. My wife and I found our mustard yellow couch while scrolling mindlessly on Facebook Marketplace, and seriously, it's one of our most prized possessions. And hey, if you are enjoying the stuff we're making here on Future Proof, make sure that you are subscribed to get more videos. If we hit 50,000 subscribers, I'm going to wear a lac coffee table as a hat for 24 hours. Probably. I mean, if we do get there, I will do something silly to celebrate, because that would be amazing. Thank you all so much. We'll see you in the next video.